Hello, hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson show. Live watch along. We are getting set. Kickoff imminent. The Australia under-20s up against Japan, and we're looking forward to this clash. Top of the table on the line. The Aussies, the young Matildas, need just a draw. Japan chasing a win in this one. We're all set here in Thailand, about to get underway, and Japan get us moving forward as we get set for this one. An absolute cracking encounter we've got on our hands. As I said, both sides undefeated coming into this game, and we are looking forward to seeing how it shapes. So as Tegan Bertolicio takes an early throw for the Aussies. And Japan now trying to go on the attack. I'll apologise for some of the jersey identification. The camera operation on the stream not perfect. Aoki gets it at centre back for Japan and just lofts it forward. It's going to be too heavy, and it'll fly over the head there of Miyu Matsunaga, I should say. Japan straight away going on the attack as Tago tries to play it forward. Just running through the Japanese side. In goals is Iwasaki. Number 2 is Yuna Aoki. 4 is Tamamai Aso. 6, Rinka Higuchi. 7, Mayu Matsunaga. Number 8 is Asako Furuta, as this goes all the way back to the captain in Iwasaki. Number 11, Natsumi Tago. Number 15, Momoko Honda. Number 20, Mone Sato. And number 21, Noah Fukushima. And Dundas out there doing the heavy work in defence there at the end for Australia, getting it done. Japan pressing numbers up high early here, and that's going to be a key focus of them, trying to get forward, trying to get the numbers happening. Great to have you tuning in. Make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and get involved in those comments. There's a nice strong tackle there from Eunice. Didn't start the last game, but is starting this one. Australia trying to go on an attacking raid here and get it out in front of Halmerick. A hat-trick in the last game. She tries to take a pot shot from 30 metres. Doesn't quite get it. Gets deflected by the defender. Falls down for the Aussies. Australia working hard here. Eunice at the core of plenty of it. They play it forward for Halmerick, but it's turned over. Good battle in midfield so far, early doors for these two teams. So just touching on that, the changes for the Aussies from the previous game. Just a straight swap. Talia Eunice coming in for Danella Buttress. Here again, Alona Mile, a long way out of her box getting to the action. Make sure to hit that like button, guys. Get involved in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Great to have you all watching as Japan and Australia fight it out for top in Group C. The prize on offer will be avoiding North Korea, the defending champions, in the quarterfinals. Second place likely ends up there Japan now on the attack. Opportunity in the box. Well broken up. In the end, Ruby Sullivan tracking back to centre back. Just kept herself in line, blocked that. Japan a nice pass out wide on the left, setting their left winger free. And a striker in the box there as well, but they just couldn't find the pass in the end to pick out Natsumi Tago. Ball crossed in, but finds the side netting. A little off target for Japan. They're certainly making some ranging runs forward. This time it was Mone Sato. As I was saying, so from Group A, we know that China and Thailand, the hosts, will go through. China finishing undefeated after a 1-0 win over Thailand last night. Now, when you're looking at the other games, we're waiting for Pool B to be played out, but you would expect North Korea. They take on South Korea. Unless South Korea knock them off, then that'll throw a cat right amongst the pigeons. For North Korea so far, 6-0 and 8-0 wins. South Korea 2-0 and 2-1 in their victories. But that means Jordan are eliminated from their pool at this stage, it looks like. And then in the Australia pool, as I said, Australia and Japan both on 6 points from 6 so far. Australia plus 10 goal difference, so a draw. We'll see them on top. And it would see them in the same half of the draw as China. And then they would play what looks like either likely Uzbekistan or Vietnam in the quarterfinals. If they can finish on top, the semi-final opportunity from there against China and the other third place team. So you would think then it's likely semi-final against China and then a final against either North Korea or Japan. So certainly that is the goal for Australia. 1 or 3 points from this game and then set themselves that task of working their way through to a possible final. Especially when you look at the recent history of this tournament. Japan they are a 6-time champion, having last one in 2019. As I said, North Korea winning in 2024. Australia's best finish previously 3rd place. North Korea have made a host of the finals in recent years. And here you go, Japan on the attack again. Australia are not going to get off lightly tonight. They're going to have to work overtime in defence, and Dundas does well there. Picks it up, just drives it down long and wide, and this will trickle over the sideline in line with the defensive 18-yard box for Japan. As I was saying, the last 4 finals have all been Japan versus North Korea. And either Japan or North Korea have been in every final, barring 2004, since this competition got instigated in 2002. Gives you a bit of scope on how it all stands, barring 2011 and 13 when it was round robins. Only 3 countries ever won the tournament. 4 countries, Japan, North Korea with 2 wins, South Korea with 2 wins, and China with 1 win. Australia have made the semi-finals at least 4 times, dating back to 2006, and then again in 17, 19, and 2024. Australia now with a throw. Apostolakis goes long with the throw. Helmrich chips it on. Trying to get around the outside is Avani Prakash. Foul called on Prakash. It'll be Japanese ball. 9 minutes gone here in this Pool C final match. Ball push forward again, this time by Prakash. It'll be picked up by Iwasaki, the keeper for Japan. She just rolls it out to her centre back. And they push it wide, Japan. A little forced pass and couldn't quite be controlled in the end by Matsunaga in the 7. Australia now. Helmrich, just a little heavy touch. It's turned over. She puts pressure on the pass, but it finds its target for Japan. And Japan immediately go very direct, trying to put the ball out in front. Miele's way out of a box. Dundas has gone shoulder to shoulder, and the Japanese players ended up on the ground. I think that might be Tago. Holding a lower back as well. The referee says play on, though, however. Now Australia go on the quick counter. Shelby McMahon plays the ball out for Eunice. Eunice back into the midfield. Kruger's there. Tries to thread a ball for McMahon, overcooks it, and it races away and will go over the byline just inside the corner flag. A goal kick for Japan. Good to have you tuning in. Make sure to get involved in those comments. Let us know where you're watching from. You're cheering for the Aussies. You're cheering for Japan. You're just happy to be a neutral. Let's fix a couple of technology challenges there. A little bit healthier crowd in tonight with a bit more on the line for this game. They play this out through Aoki. She decides to go back to Iwasaki. Plays a cross goal with attackers advancing. Nice pinpoint pass there, and they continue to push forward. Now Fukushima works it across. And they come wide to the right. Honda gives on. Matsunaga. Just working it around. Back to Honda here. Momoko Honda from Tokyo Verdy. Majority of their squad all involved in ongoing contracts with Japanese senior clubs. One exception is Mao Itamura, who's on the bench, who is with Feyenoord. Alona Mila up to the task there, getting the save and getting the stop. Not really challenged, just comes out and picks it up. And the ball pressed forward, and Kruger on the ball, looking for options, plays it back to Dundas, who's playing left centre back. She goes all the way back to Mila, who's at the top of her 18-yard box. Australia was slow starters in their game the other night against India. Took till the 38th minute to get on the score sheet. And to be fair, didn't challenge too often in the lead up to that, but 2 goals in 60 seconds. And they then went away with it in the second half. A nice ball there. Picking out Tago. She plays wide now. Matsunaga. Matsunaga has 2 defenders arrive. Drops it all the way back to Honda. Honda will work it back to a centre back. And Aoki plays a nice ball through the middle using Furuta. And now they push it down the left. Wide left here for Japan. They drop it all the way back to halfway. Fed to the centre back. Aoki in the centre circle. She works it back to the left. They're just trying to create space here. They'll try and thread the ball down the line. They'll put the ball out in front. But Alessio's there. She plays it into the legs of Sato and will get Australia a throw deep in defensive territory. Almost 13 minutes gone here. Still no score in this top of Pool C clash. As we said, it is quite significant. Both teams will go through. But I want to come out on top as there's a foul there on Prakash. It's going to be called against Monet Sato. Sandwich between Sato and Furuta there. But again, top spot will likely avoid North Korea, and they'll also fall into a quarterfinal against one of the third place sides, as opposed to a runner-up where they will face either North Korea or South Korea. Noting that those sides do play in the final pool games. Which will be a little bit later tonight. Scheduled for 4 hours post these games. Another game in action at the moment is Chinese Taipei versus India. Both those sides fighting out for third spot in the pool. Chinese Taipei sitting in third on goal difference at the moment. A bit like Australia, a draw will be enough to secure third, although they would like a win because a draw will likely see them eliminated from the competition. There's an opportunity here. Half presents for Japan before it's dealt with nicely there by Alexia Apostolakis, young Melbourne City defender. Now Japan through Higuchi. Aoki plays wide and goes to Aso. They go to the left again. That's been their favoured side. They cut back inside, cross the ball into the box, and Melee comes off a line and just takes it on the chest on the 6-yard line. And now she'll assess her options. Good delivery there into the box from Itamura. The youngster who is, as I said, contracted at Feyenoord. Turns 20 later this year. Mila comes out of her box. The Australian goalkeeper plays it out and out of the boots of Dundas, who takes the space on offer in front of her, heads down towards halfway. She plays it wide out on the left at halfway to Alexia Postolakis, who overcooks the ball looking for Shelby McMahon. Almost a mistake in the box there. The pass misdirected in the end. McMahon comes and grabs it, but Japan defend stoutly on their 18-yard line and win out. And now they rotate the ball back through Honda. And they look to work it again down that left side. Look to structure quite a lot through Itamura. Just a linchpin on that left. Good footwork, good tight control. Feeds the ball now, Tago. And she goes wide again. Nothing presents, so they cut back before lofting the ball into the box. And again, Milo will come out and easily take that. No contest, races out, takes it on the first bounce in between the 6 and 18-yard boxes. She'll place this one down and take her time. She plays it out along the ground again to Dundas. Dundas is going to have to go back as Japan press hard here. Mila will go back to Dundas, wide on the left here. Dundas tries to play it through midfield, hopes for a friendly bounce, which does work out for her. Eunice is there. She'll play it back in, but not heavy enough with the touch, and it falls to Japan. Honda's one, turns it. Comes wide now for Matsunaga. Matsunaga pushing it back to Higuchi. Higuchi looks to cross it wide now to Itamura. Itamura beats the defender. Bertolicio takes a strike and just wide. She had Ilona Mila stranded at the front post and nearly beat her at the back just for a few inches of width. She would have had a goal there to get things started. Mao Itamura. Wonderfully weighted ball. She's cleared of the danger. Nice little touch back inside Bertolicio. And then as the defender arrives in Sullivan, she takes a strike across the goals and misses only by a matter of inches at the right post. Ilona Mila was still at the other post. Absolutely stranded. Wonderful work there by Mone Sato. Laying it up for Mao Itamura, and Itamura almost finishing. Well, here we go now. Australia, they straight away trying to move forward. They try and go a bit more direct this time. They need a friendly bounce. It does bounce, but not the way they wanted. Deflects off the thigh of Momoko Honda, and it goes all the way back to Iwasaki in goal. Now they'll play it around again, going down the left. And again, they go straight to Itamura. And she's clattered into by the Australian defensive Bertolicio. Peter Trimmis over there helping out as well. It's actually Trimmis that committed the foul in the end. As we tick into the 19th minute of this match. Japan definitely the better of the opportunities. Australia doing their best to defend stoutly. Again, Japan look for that cross, that diagonal ball out in front of Itamura, but this time Ilona Mila is out there and snatches in behind, waving off Tegan Bertolicio and says, I'll take this. And now Mila will take her time, just meandering out into the field, out past her 18-yard box, trying to draw in some Japanese attackers playing defense. She finds it all the way down to Eunice, who goes back to Postolakis. Then there's a ball in between here. Trouble. Ilona Mila is going to be in trouble. She's come out of a box and she's taken down the Japanese attacker without the ball. Natsumi Tago. The referee's going to go to a pocket, and I think this is going to be red, and Australia's going to be down a player. Let's see what colour the card is. No. My goodness, there's some good fortune there for Ilona Mila. The card that's come out of the pocket is just yellow. She had every reason for that card to be red. She came out of the box, took the feet of the player, as we see again here. Didn't even get the ball, just clipped the player on the way through after the player had gotten the ball and put it out in front of her in Tago. I can see plenty of arguments there for that being a red card for a keeper coming out of their box and fouling a player there. She will get away with that one. Just the yellow. That's fortunate for Australia because that probably would have been the end of the game. They do have Jasmine Black, who's a college player from the US, from Australia, playing in the US at George Washington University, and also Georgia Ritchie, who plays in the A-League with the Newcastle Jets at just the age of 18. They do have two backup goalkeepers on the bench, both older than Mila. But it would have been a forced change and being down a player. So, yellow card, and here's an opportunity. Probably about 5 metres further away from goal than the corner of the 18-yard box, but probably 10 to the sideline edge of the goal of that 18-yard box. So realistically, probably a good 22 to 24 metres from goal on an awkward angle, but it would be a good angle to try and float one in towards the back post and maybe have someone pounce on it and finish. There'll be Noah Fukushima over the dead ball here. Perfect opportunity. Australia just one player short in Avani Prakash. She curls it, plenty of height on it, spinning it back over the back of the 18-yard box. Races away, where it's picked up by Itamura. She drops it all the way back now. Matsunaga puts it into the box. Not quite cleared by Australia. Kruger's out there trying to fight for it. It's played forward. Opportunity to cross the ball in the box. Coming into the box. Opportunity again. Oh, almost a mix-up there. Miss-hit with the clearance from Shelby McMahon, but it spun and sat up nicely for Alona Mile in the end. The ball beat a couple of people, and then McMahon tried to clear it and kicked it with her right, and it spun off her boot and back into her left heel, and then sat for Alona Mile, who's fallen forward onto it. Now Trimmers plays it forward. Australia, panic stations at the moment. Japan really getting on top here. Fukushima getting into the box, runs into the shoulder. Looks like if Dundas comes off second best, but the referee says play on here. They play it out. A heavy touch there from Talia Yunus takes it over the sideline. And there'll be a throw in for Japan. Japan appealing for Yunus having thrown the ball away, but I just don't think that Honda expected it when it came as quick as it did from her. Honda goes backwards with the throw. Rinka Higuchi is back there. They go all the way back to their centre back in Yuna Aoki. Working here, Japan. They'll take a strike from range. Relatively easily dealt with by Alona Milo, just falling forward, just forward of a goal line. Just looking back through Japan's two earlier games, they had a 6-0 win over India in the first game, in which they had 5 different goal scorers as well as an own goal to India. And then they had 2 different goal scorers in their 2-0 win over Chinese Taipei. So the only person who has scored more than 1 goal is actually Yura Honda, who is on the bench for them today. So she started against Chinese Taipei. Getting their second goal. They scored 2 goals early and then were unable to go on with it. 2 goals inside the first 27 minutes against Chinese Taipei. Australia just looking at 6s and 7s again. They get the ball through and wide to Itamura. She pulls up looking for support. Cuts back against the grain. Takes a strike from about 25 yards. Doesn't get through the defence though. It's just blocked and they go again. Now they thread the ball through again. Again looking for Itamura. Again strong defence from Australia. Not taking a backward step, but Alicio put it back on her backside with firm contact. It was legal though. Now they clear the ball away over halfway. Japan centre it up into the back edge of the centre circle. Now they work it around just on the outer perimeter of the centre circle, over halfway on the attacking side. Honda, that's Momoko Honda out there. Now driven long. Aoki again looking for Itamura. She finds her deep, looking for a cross ball played on, and Sato is there. Sato now puts it into the dangerous position just at the top of the box. Ball tried to be cleared by Australia. They can't quite get there. Prakash plays it out in front. Just a little too heavy in the end. Well, there's some hesitation from Aoki on how to deal with it. Japan recycle it back through halfway. Again, they go wide here. Opportunity here for Tago in the box. Tago plays it out again, this time to Sato. Sato laces it at pace along the ground behind the defensive line. And Alona Mila comes out and grabs it again. She's been kept busy, Mila. Trying to catch the defence unawares there. Interesting now they've pushed Itamura into a much more central position for a little while there. Just trying to create different looks and different shapes. Mila coming forward now from her goal line again, as she's wont to do. Plays it out, drives it long over halfway. It beats everyone, including the Japanese defence, and will roll down towards the external corner of the 18-yard box. And it's picked up there by Aso, who plays it across to Aoki on the right centre-back, who returns the favour. Back to the left centre-back, and now they go out to the left back in Sato. Just recycling it back across their back line, and now Eunice decides to press. Prakash will go up as well, and they feed it through the hole that she's left. Now they work forward. Opportunity here if they can sneak in behind. Good run, and then just a jersey pull. That's pretty clear cut. But Alicia is probably going to find herself in the book here. Just dragged down an attacker who was running through. Let's wait and see from the referee if we're going to have a card or we're just going to have free kick. And it was pretty clear cut there as Higuchi was running away and didn't even try and disguise it, Bertolicio. Japan have got Australia at 6s and 7s. There's a confirmation. It was a yellow card, a second yellow card for Australia. Great to have you all tuning in. Make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and get involved in those comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Great to have you watching with us. As Japan, another dangerous set-piece opportunity, this time about 25 metres out from goal. In line, almost in line with the left upright, left goal post. Let's see what they can do here, whether they'll try and curl it into the box for an opportunity or whether they will just try and take a strike. Probably underestimated that. It's probably getting closer to 30 metres out from goal. It'll be a fair hit from there. They lofted up dangerously, headed across goal, and then Mila comes for it. Aoki got the header to it, but just popped it up for Alona Mila. The strike from the set piece came from Itamura. A good header, but not enough to test Mila. Easily out there. Had she hesitated at all, Furuta was coming through. But here's another opportunity. Pulled back and went to line up and wind up for the shot Fukushima. But Dundas arrived and cleared it away. But the Australians just scrambling with last line clearances time after time after time. Feels like they've been pinned in their own half for the last 15 minutes or so. Lots of work to be done for the Australians. Over 27 minutes gone now. A corner for Japan. It'll be Tamami Aso from one of the 3 Tokyo Verdy players in this starting 11 for Japan. She raises both hands aloft. She'll come around and dress this with the left boot. She does that. She's very heavily hit. Fall into the back post. Good one-on-one tackle there. Sky Halmerick it was. The striker turning up the defence and just took it away, but it was so heavily hit that it landed almost on the full in the back corner of the 18-yard box. As far away from goal as you might like it as an attacking team. So Japan now have a throw midpoint of the attacking half on their left edge. There you go, the long throw backwards back towards halfway, and now they work it into the centre circle where Aoki is. Aoki just happy to move it around, plays it to Aso, who feeds it through, and Higuchi plays it out nicely now where Sato and Itamura connect. Itamura now gets past a few, runs into the 18-yard box. Can she find the pass? Oh, air swing for Alexia Apostolakis, fortunately. Or did she get a glancing blow on it? No, she didn't, says the assistant referee, and so it will be an Australian throw-in. But just an air swing there. Lucky for her, no Japanese attackers were lurking behind her. We'll be bringing you some of the quarterfinals and semi-finals and further action across the tournament. This stage will more than likely have the Chinese quarterfinal and potentially I think it'll be the Thai quarterfinal as well. So it may not be the ones involving Australia. Just depending on times. We may be able to get an extra one in there. We'll see how we go. But very cognizant of the fact that the other quarterfinals will kick off at 11 p.m. at night Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And we've also got some commitments with other sports live streaming and live watch-alongs across the weekend. But we'll do what we can. Once we know the makeup of those quarterfinals, we will firmly lock that in. Plenty of live watch-alongs coming, though. Basketball coming as well. A few other bits and pieces. And some other commitments this weekend. So we'll see how we can fit all that in. As, again, Japan go on the attack, and it's just driven into the legs by Mao Itamura. Ruby Sullivan sees it off, and again, it'll be a corner this time from the left edge of Japan's attack as we hit the 30-minute mark. And this time it'll be Noah Fukushima to take the corner. Part of the JFA Academy in Fukushima, fittingly with her name. Noah floats it up, drifts it in dangerously, headed away nicely by Apostolakis. She gets a good 15 metres on it before it's headed again further downfield, this time by Peter Trimmis. And in the end, Japan will pick it up back almost at halfway. It's driven long and forward by Higuchi, trying to find a friendly bounce in the box, but again, driven away by the Aussies. They get in. Japan not walking away from it, though. Apostolakis a good tackler. Now they go on a ranging run here. Opportunity laid out wide. Halmerick finds herself wide on the left. Under pressure from Rinka Higuchi, and the ball goes out of play. Oh, certainly helter-skelter. Plenty of action, much higher intensity and tempo than the previous games, and we're going to have a cooling break now. 31 minutes gone. So as I say, cooling break. They have these 30 minutes into each half. It's 36 degrees at the moment. It was 38 degrees at or around kickoff. So cooling break more than understandable. Similar level highs for the rest of the week. And even in those later games, you're still seeing with an 8 p.m. kickoff, you still got around about a 31 degree temperature at kickoff. So it's certainly tough conditions for these young ladies who are plying their trade. Just a reminder that qualification for the semi-finals will see the sides qualify through to the Under-20s World Cup in Poland. Which will be held later this year. Really looking forward to that in September. To give you an idea, much different temperatures there. Maximums of about 18 degrees. If my research serves me well, if we look at a couple of these venues, Lods will be the most furthest north, and yeah, it'll have an average, a low of 7 and a high of 17. So perfect football weather. So we've already got quite a number of teams qualified. Oceania champions, the European champions, and nations that have gone through. New Zealand are through. South American and the CONCACAF sides are all decided. Just the AFC teams and the African teams. The African teams will be decided next month as we see a foul called there in Australia's favour is almost immediately on a resumption against Aoki. So now Australia, a chance in the attacking half. Apostolakis drops it back to Dundas, though. She'll go wide to Ruby Sullivan. Sullivan plays it down, looking for angles to open up, and Kruger plays the ball through now. Bertolicio in a very advanced role. Prakash is busy. Now it's back with Trimmis. Trimmis trying to feed it through, looking for Halmerick. Ball pinballing around, and again it sits up this time for Halmerick. There's going to be a foul called against Peter Trimmis. one of the Central Coast Mariners. 2 Central Coast Mariners in the starting 11 alongside Avani Prakash, playing together on that right edge. Also in the squad, Tiana Fuller, who's seen time off the bench in the last 2 games. Turnover ball here. Trimis gets hold. Plays it into the feet of Monet Sato, who's defending it tight to the line on the right. And Trimis comes away, and Australia will have the throw. They do go long with Bertolicio for Prakash. Trimis lofts it forward, looking for Halmerick, but awkward bounce. Now Australia pressing here. It's good work from Talia Younis. Takes possession. Needs to find some support, though. She's had to turn back towards her own goal. And she tracks it back to halfway with Emma Dundas, who looks to play in the diagonal ball, but it's misdirected. And Japan just clear it as long as they can before Bertolicio feeds a ball right through the middle of everyone. No touches, and it trickles all the way to Uraha Iwasaki, the goalkeeper for Japan. And 35.5 minutes gone, and it's still 0-0. Japan have certainly dominated possession and territory so far. But as we know, games of football are not decided on those 2 statistics alone. Now Japan working it through the midfield. A bit of a turnover there. Higuchi. Prakash takes it away. What can she conjure here? Drops it to Trimis. Trimis floats it into the box, where Halmerick takes a strike, but it finds the chest of Iwasaki nicely and calmly. She had to wrap her leg around the body of the defender to get that shot away. And she did well to position herself against Aoki, but just couldn't get it past Iwasaki. Yet to concede a goal in this tournament, Uraha Iwasaki. Great to have you all tuning in. Make sure to hit like on the video if you're enjoying the content. Hit subscribe on the channel as well. Get involved in those comments. Let us know whereabouts you're tuning in from. Who are you barracking for in this game? As Japan look to play it down the line, but just pushed across by the Australian captain in Apostolakis on the right edge. Japan now with a throw, about a third of the way from halfway to the goal line. Okay, defensive with the throw. Yuna Aoki. She tries to play forward. Halmerick haranguing and hassling. Avani Prakash toes it out in front. She's not going to be quick enough to get there. It's going to race away and be trapped by Iwasaki, who'll pick it up and just try and get her defense to calm. That's 2 little mistakes in as many minutes from Japan at the back that have created opportunities for the young Matildas. Now, what do we got here working through the middle? She's been busy all day. Higuchi for Japan. Plays it forward now. Itamura. Dropping it back. Fukushima. Now, floated forward again. This time, looking to the advantage of Tago. Good strong tackle there. Looked a good strong tackle by Bertolicio on Tago, but the flag's gone up for offside. Instead, I thought they'd called a foul on that. I was going to say that was very harshly adjudged. But Tago just getting a little jump on the defensive line. Now Halmerick trying to get through the gap, but turned her eyes and the ball hit her in the back. Avani Prakash now. Can she get the ball to her attack partner in Younis? No. Just a little undercooked. Younis now push up on Iwasaki. Iwasaki. Little rush of blood and just push the ball out wide across the sideline. 38.5 minutes gone here in this first half. Still no score. Australia would grab it. If Australia were to grab it, it would be against the run of play, you would say, but they're starting to show some more positive signs here. They're into the 18-yard box. Struck back for Halmerick. She winds up, takes a strike, but it's pushed away thanks to the block of Higuchi. Now Halmerick tries to win out again, pushes it forward. Prakash gets the ball, traps it down, takes a shot, and finishes. Avani Prakash, what a strike. Japan are going to try and protest and say there was a high boot here, but Prakash finishing on her left boot, puts it into the bottom right-hand corner, and Australia have snatched the lead, as I just said, against the run of play, and that was all through the physicality and presence of Sky Halmerick first, and then Avani Prakash settled it to a boot and put it into that bottom corner. Wonderful strike. Australia lead 1-0 here early doors as we head towards half-time. Japanese captain and goalkeeper Uraha Iwasaki is out arguing with the referee, saying that Avani Prakash bringing the ball down was a dangerous high boot. As we watch on the replay here, and it falls for Halmerick. She just prods it forward. You can see the case there, but Prakash was pulling the ball back. She wasn't going forward at the player. They're going in different directions. Then she just pulled it to the left boot and beat the diving defences. One of those calls you could certainly see go either way, and it would have been frustrating for Australia had it gone that way, but the referees called it and seen it the way they have. And Prakash with a wonderful finish on her left. First left touch off her less preferred foot. That is a wonderful goal for Avani Prakash. Australia take the lead after almost 40 minutes here. A very strong goal. And we're back underway. That is Prakash's first goal of this Under-20s Asian Cup. Australia now, what can they do? Got a 1-0 lead, and Talia Younis is spinning pirouettes. Tegan Bertolicio drives it forward, looking for the run from Younis. Iwasaki will be patient and wait for it to come into the 18-yard box and just pick it up and distribute it out to the left, where Tamami Aso is. Aso returns it to Aoki, the right centre back. About 5 yards out from her, the 18-yard box. She plays it directly to the right to Momoka Honda. She looks for the diagonal pass to the central mid. Referee plays advantage after Prakash comes in with a heavy challenge. It's out to the right now with Matsunaga. She cuts back in. Younis comes involved. Dundas as well. Tago getting away. Dundas drags Tago down by the jersey. And again, the referee will go to her pocket. A third yellow card going for the Australians. And Madundas goes into the book alongside her goalkeeper and her right fullback in Tegan Bertolicio. Clearly got beat by Tago, and Dundas just drags it aground, not even trying to disguise the fact. I wonder if that's instruction from the Australian coach, Alex Aparkas, to give no mercy and just be prepared to wear those yellow cards, because he will know the task of taking on what is likely North Korea in the quarterfinals makes qualification for an Under-20s World Cup almost unlikely. You'd have to say Australia would be probably at best a 1 in 3 chance against North Korea, you'd think, on the surface of things. Whereas those odds would flip on their head if they were to take on the likes of Vietnam or Uzbekistan in the quarterfinals, if not even further inverse. But for now, a dangerous opportunity here just outside the 18-yard box. Floated in, goes short, finds the runner at the front of the wall from Fukushima's set piece, but Australia eventually clear it back over halfway. And Iwasaki comes all the way out of a box to pick it up about 35 metres from goal. Playing it out to Aso, who gives it on. Gets the return pass again, and now she plays to the centre-back partner in Aoki. Aoki waits the last moment to play it down the line now. Fukushima feeds it in. Tago. Coming forward is Honda. Fukushima down this right edge is where they're playing and pinballing around. They push it back into the midfield a little bit more. Little bump there from Halmerick, and the referee is going to pull that one back as we hit the 43-minute mark. Just 2 minutes remaining of regulation time in the first half. And then we'll be at the referee's discretion. Obviously, there'll be some time added on thanks to that earlier cooling break. And they go now, Tago trying to play through. Dundas converges with Younis, and they break it up. Again, Halmerick does well to break up the play. Younis goes into the midfield where Kruger is. Hasn't had a lot of involvement in the last little bit. They've been going around rather than direct. Now they go across to Bertolicio on the right. She's happy to play it back through Ruby Sullivan. She'll take the time and space on offer as we get down to 1 minute of regulation time remaining. And she drives it forward looking for Peter Trimmis, but a little too heavy and wide, and it'll go over the sideline at the midpoint of Japan's defensive half on their left edge. And they'll take the quick throw in and get things moving. Now sits with Aoki, who plays wide to Momoka Honda. They use every inch of space on the right now to come out to Matsunaga. Back to Honda. Back to Aoki. She drives long and wide. Very well done there to keep the header in play from Itamura. And then there's a challenge here. Two players coming together, and there's an Australian player down on the ground. quite sure who it is. We'll wait a moment till we can work out who it is before we take assumptions. Peter Trimmis, I think, that's been collected, and a bit of friendly fire from Bertolicio colliding with Monet Sato, and Trimmis got the whiplash of being the third domino. So hopefully everything's okay for her. Back underway now. Trimmis is back on her feet, which is a good sign. Now Avani Prakash on the ball on the right edge for Australia. Plays it back to Trimmis. It goes to Kruger, who plays to McMahon, who has to backtrack to pick up the ball and roll it out to Dundas at centre back. Dundas puts it out in front of Apostolakis. Apostolakis can't control her attempted ball down the line, and it goes out of play. And I mean, updated from the fourth official. There'll be 4 minutes of added time to be played, and we're 30 seconds into that as we speak. So the game continues on. Great to have you tuning in. Make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and get involved in those comments. Don't be shy. Let us know where you're tuning in from around the world. We'd love to have you involved in the conversation, who you're cheering for, who you think will win from here. Japan, as we said, have dominated all the key statistics, but the one that matters most, Australia lead on 1-0 on the scoreboard. Thanks to Avani Prakash, the youngster from the Central Coast Mariners, turns 20 in December this year. And it's certainly great to have you all tuning in. As I said, don't be shy. Feel free to get involved in those comments. Let us know where you're watching from, how you're spending your Wednesday. Could be morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. But I'm going to assume afternoon or evening for most of our viewers, as Japan again range down the left flank. Monet Sato's there. She cuts infield, tries to feed it into the box. A little bit of tangle, and it somehow spills out friendly for Itamura, but she has to cut wide and play it back. Higuchi's got the ball now. Higuchi going all the way back, utilising a centre back. Tamami Aso and Higuchi work it between them. Now they engage Yuna Aoki as well, and maybe they'll try a little foray down the right with Honda. Honda plays it out in front of Matsunaga. Matsunaga cuts back to the centre, floats it into the box. Tago's there. Dundas comes in and supports the clean-up effort and clubs it long. And it goes over the sideline, over halfway, back in the defensive half for a throw-in for Japan. 47 minutes gone now. Should only be another 2 or so minutes till the break. Can Australia hang on and maintain their lead? As I said, undoubtedly, Japan have dominated territory and possession so far in this half. But the main statistic at the moment is the scoreboard. Matsunaga looking for an avenue towards an attacking raid. Honda plays it back now. Aoki to Aso. Aso squeezing her way wide left. Nice ball out in front from Itamura into the box. Opportunity here for Japan. And there it is, the equaliser in the shadows of half-time. It is Fukushima who beats Ilona Mila for the first time this tournament. And as we head towards half-time, only moments to go, Japan have squared us all up at 1 goal apiece, and deservedly so. It was wonderfully worked. And Fukushima's been dangerous a number of times in different positions from set piece, and now it is in general play that she strikes. In the 48th minute, Noah Fukushima puts Japan back on level pegging. A wonderfully taken opportunity here. All threaded through. She snuck in behind, pulled back, beat Sullivan, who overshot the mark, and then just diagonally stroked it across the keeper into the right-hand side netting. And even Ilona Mila couldn't get across to that. A wonderful finish from young Noah Fukushima, just 17 years of age. They're looking to push again here, Japan. Mila on her bike, having to track across straight away from the restart. Mila will look to use up some time here. Just roll the ball around, take it slow. 49 minutes ticks over, so we're at the referee's discretion. Fukushima now one of the equal leading goal scorers for Japan in this tournament. Scored their 3rd goal in the game against India. And the referee says that will do us, as Ilona Mila goes for her goal kick. And we will go to the break. 1-1. Japan snatch back and close that deficit in the shadows of halftime. Australia couldn't quite hold on. And Japan, after having dominated, as I said, territory and possession throughout most of this first half, managed to get back on level pegging as we head to the second half. They know they need a win to finish on top. Otherwise, it will set up what is likely, depending on other results, obviously, a huge quarterfinal against North Korea for the loser of this game. If it's a draw, it will be Australia that will advance through into top spot. However, a win for Japan would see them finish first, and Australia take that dreaded berth, likely against North Korea, potentially against South Korea if South Korea can upset North Korea later tonight. We're going to take a short break. We'll rejoin you with the second half in about 8 or 9 minutes as we get all set for the last 45 minutes to determine what will come of this game. Need to update that scoreboard before I go. There we go. Apologies. 1-1 at halftime. Australia-Japan. If you haven't already, make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and we will be back with you in about 8 minutes or so with the second half of this AFC Under-20s Women's Asian Cup Pool C match to decide top spot. Australia-Japan locked at 1 goal apiece. Hello, hello. We're back, getting ready for that second half as we look for Australia after they took that early 1-goal lead. Early is a very relative word. In the 38th minute, through Avani Prakash, the young Central Coast Mariner star. Midfield dynamo, getting that strike from her left boot into the bottom corner. Then in the shadows of half-time, it was Noah Fukushima who did equally well, close control, beating Ruby Sullivan and then driving it across goal into the right-hand side netting. Beyond a diving Alona Mila to level it up in stoppage time to make it 1-1 at the break. As we said, it was certainly a dominant Japan across the key statistical areas when you look at the numbers in that first half. But the wonders of football is that it's only about who dominates the score sheet. Japan so far have had 63% of possession. And in essence have had 57.5%, almost 58% of the territory as well. So certainly been a strong performance from them so far. And what they can conjure in this second half once we are set again for play will be the question. That domination, will it continue? Almost set for this second half to get underway. Just some ads on the live stream, which is always riveting. Interesting to see whether there's any changes at half time. One thing Australia will have to manage is the fact they've got 3 yellow cards in this first half. Alona Mile, Tegan Berlicio and Emma Dundas all on the wrong side of the referee. Australia have had the better of the shots and the shots on target despite having less of possession. 7 shots to 4, 3 shots on target to 2. 4 of those shots for Australia that have come from outside the box, but both teams are all set. And it doesn't look like at this stage there will be any changes, but we're waiting for confirmation. Referee's whistle gets us almost underway. And we're waiting now. She gets a signal from broadcast. We are good to go. She checks her watch. And now we are underway. Australia with the ball. They work it wide now. Ruby Sullivan playing it through to Prakash. Nice little 1-2 with Kruger. A little overhit looking for Trimis. Falls back to Kruger again, who swings it wide to the left. And Alexia Apostolakis has to get on her bike to pick this up just inside the left touch line. Australia looking much more intentional with ball movement straight out of the blocks here. All the way back to Alona Mila. Emma Dundas is on the ball, under pressure though. She has it dispossessed. Opportunity here now. Fukushima puts it into the box. Looking for a runner, but can't find her striker, and it's just shadowed across the line. Not quite across the line. Looked like it went over the sideline then, but wonderful touch in the end. Played into the box by Itamura, and then driven over the sideline by Dundas, who seems perplexed that the ball didn't go over either the goal line or the sideline there. It must have only been by the barest of margins. Great to have you all tuning in. It'd be great if you could hit like on the video if you're enjoying it. Hit subscribe on the content. As the ball goes across the byline, an ineffective attack for the Japanese. And it'll come for a goal kick for Australia. Tegan Bertolicio went forward, just blocking that throw in and straddled the ball without touching it before it went over the byline. And now straight away, Tago is working overtime, pressing here up forward for Japan. As Eunice, a misdirected pass looking for Kruger, picked off by Fukushima. Japan will try and work down the right flank. Try and feed it in, but it's blocked by Dundas. Turned over again there. Honda comes away with it. Of course, Momoka Honda on there in the starting 11. Straight away, Monet Sato calls for the diagonal pass, and she gets it. She's picked out with plenty of space on the edge. She gets to the inside, tries to cut it back, but tracking back is McMahon, who drives it away out wide, and it'll roll away over the sideline. Near halfway. 2 minutes gone here in the second half. Japan and Australia, top spot in Pool C on the line as it sits at the moment. Australia will finish on top. But if Japan could eke their way in front across the next 43 minutes, well, it will be theirs for the taking. Now Sullivan for Prakash. Looks to play it wide, gets outside of market, gets dragged to ground, and we'll get a free kick on halfway here. Australia look to take it quickly through Kruger. McMahon plays it back to her. Kruger dropping it back in the pocket to Dundas. Dundas, Apostolakis up to Eunice, and now they rotate it all the way back through Dundas, back to Alona Milo, who's about 20 metres from goal. Working the ball around, opportunity to go back. Ball in dispute now for the Aussies. Dundas threads it forward, and we're going to come back for a foul that's been given. Tago was the player who was fouled. Australia now will have to defend a dangerous set piece. A bit of a technical issue with our camera. We'll be back with you in one moment from a video point of view. Go on the attack again, Matsunaga. Australia see it across the byline. It could be a corner. Okay, technical issue hopefully resolved for the time being. So, Japan with the corner. Aso drops it in short, awkward bounce, sits up, headed on from Itamura, but Dundas drives it away to the edge of the 18-yard box. It falls back now for Aoki. Aoki flicks it up. The header popped up by Trimis. Not dealt with. Dundas. Karate kicks the ball down towards halfway. The bounce beats Higuchi, who's back there. Vani Prakash is chasing right on her 6. Puts the pressure through, and the pass goes all the way back to Iwasaki, and Australia breathe a sigh of relief for the moment. Just on 5 minutes gone in this second half, and Japan straight away go on the attack again. This time Sato feeds it in for Tago, and again Dundas is there coming up clutch, driving it away towards halfway. So, what can they conjure up here, the Aussies? They need to come up with something. Japan dominating. Itamura, pinballing around, pops out now, falls to Sato. Sato feeds it into Tago. Tago cuts across into the 18-yard box, takes a strike, and just slices away from the upright, not far from the right post. Mila was watchful all the way. And she stepped inside the 18-yard box, and again, Ruby Sullivan was the player beaten with a little bit of footwork there. If she had had it on the inside of that post, I think she might have had Ilona Mile tested at, certainly out there, but 6.5 minutes gone now. And we continue on. Australia just still trying to see off wave after wave of Japanese pressure. Dundas, a little tuck move away, plays it back to Mila. Tago's going to push up here, plays it out now to Sullivan. Sullivan, the trimmers, will just play it off the legs of the Japanese midfielder and get the throw. It's probably more good fortune than good management. Now Japan a throw defensively, deep in their attacking third. A defensive third, sorry. Ball going back now. Aso, Aoki. Aoki will prod it to the right. Honda's there. Looks to combine in midfield with Furuta. Now Higuchi goes back. Aoki just working it around here. Honda again down the line. It's a better run now from Matsunaga. Feeds it through. Opportunity here. They've got overlapping numbers if they can use them. Sato plays it off to Itamura. Itamura at the edge of the 18-yard box, but Alicio comes up clutch. Doesn't clear it very far, though. Trimis is there, and then a missed clearance, and Ruby Sullivan has to step up and try and push it away. But Japan's still in possession here. Aso drives it forward now. Furuta has been quiet. They're looking to thread a pass there, and Eunice gets the touch on and slows it down a little bit before coming back and taking it away from Honda. Links up with Apostolakis. She pushes it forward with McMahon and back to Apostolakis here. And Japan's zone defense just really strangling the Australian ball movement. Looking for a ball through to Halmerick, but again, it's picked off. Halmerick pushes back. Japanese push forward here in numbers, surging, trying to thread the ball through. Opportunity here, little touch on, and it's going to be tapped in again. It's a double for Fukushima. It was deflected by Mila. She didn't even need to take another touch. It got underneath the diving Australian keeper, and Japan lead 2-1 here after just over 8.5 minutes of this second half. Tough for the Australians. That now puts Japan on the live standings atop Group C. Australia now in that dangerous position of likely, depending on results later tonight, having to take on the defending champions in the quarterfinals. So Australia, they haven't really looked like, outside of the first 15 to 30 seconds of this second half, getting forward. And Japan's pressure eventually takes its toll. A wonderfully threaded ball, and Fukushima just gets the touch on it. Race forward, could have really finished it into the net, but just let the ball's momentum do its own work. Now the Australians with work to do. They trail by a goal. Almost 55 minutes gone, and Japan try to press forward, but they give away a foul here, and Australia quick to move things along. They're not going to be wanting to dilly-dally too much, despite still having 35 minutes of play remaining. Now they play it forward. Fukushima now the outright leading goal scorer for Japan in this tournament. Nice little move there by McMahon down the left flank. Turns away from one, then burns the next. She gets past Taguchi. Plays it out now in front of Eunice. Can Australia get a quick response? Eunice cuts back here. Lofts it into the box. It's headed down. Pushing through on the volley. A little fumble from Iwasaki. She does well to keep it in her grasp just inside the byline. That was wonderful follow-up work by Zara Kruger. The Queenslander coming through. The header not quite cleared by Itamura, and Kruger just a little scissor kick on the volley, and it was awkwardly bouncing for a diving Iwasaki. Originally, she thought it was going to be lower and got the right hand down, but just managed to get that hand back up and parry it away and maintain the deficit or the advantage at 1 for the time being. But Australia now will have a throw. Deep in the attacking third, but Alicia will take the throw. Looking for options. She goes over the top looking for Prakash. Prakash can get the right turn here. Slices between two defenders. She goes to ground. Appeals for a penalty from Australia. Waved away by the referee. Not having any part of that. It looked very soft, to be fair. Now, Bertolicio floats it into the box. Iwasaki comes out from a 6-yard line and takes it amongst a pack of retreating Japanese defenders. Almost 57 minutes gone. Japan with the lead. Australia got the opening goal in the 38th minute. Japan responded in stoppage time. Then very quickly made it their advantage to start this second half as Ruby Sullivan tracking back just pushes that ball across the sideline and concedes a throw in. Japan will take it through Monet Sato. Now Sato feeds it all the way back. Aso, Aoki. Honda now on the ball. Back to Aoki. She plays wide now. That's Matsunaga. Rotating it back through, and it's a little bit of a readjustment. Honda popping into centre back. Now played forward for the danger player in Itamura. Forward to Tago. If she can get the return ball, could be really dangerous. Tago taking the turn and the spin, and this one floats up awkwardly off an Australian defender. So Mila has to keep it inside the byline, and she does well. So as not to concede a corner. Almost 58 gone. Time continues to tick away. Plenty of time still for the Australians, but they'll become ever cognizant of this time elapsing. Australia turn it over here just on halfway. Ball goes back through Honda. Lofts it wide to the left now. Well controlled by Itamura. But Sato down the line if she wants it. Decides to go back into the defence, and Aso is there. As I was saying before, Momoka Honda's moved into that centre-back position, just freeing up Yuna Aoki to play in the right-back position. And Aoki now bombs forward. Lays off and takes a good run, but they cut infield with Matsunaga. Matsunaga loses a footing, though, and the Aussies, through McMahon, spill the ball wide. It falls for Tago. Tago now gets inside the right-hand edge of the 18-yard box, threads the ball across the face of goal, just a little bit too far forward for Itamura to get there, and it beats her across the byline after narrowly missing the left post. And Australia played out from the back. Sullivan decides to take the space on offer. She'll Bertolicio down the line if she wants to, but decides to go back infield and clatters into a Japanese player who's trying to break up the play, and they prod it forward now. It'll trickle across the byline from Japan, and Australia will have another goal kick here. And speaking of Japan, they will be making a change, and it will be Yura Honda, who's scored twice in this competition already. Nitai Dai, Yokohama player. And she will come on as a replacement for Rinka Higuchi. Just looking to find a little bit of experience there. Turned 20 earlier this year. In February, did Yura Honda, one of the older players in this competition. Celebrated her birthday on the 1st of February. Quite a range when you look at some of these players that were born as late as 2009, and then you've got players born in 2006 as well. So a full 3-year spread. Two 20-year-olds in the side for, well, certainly on the pitch now. For Japan. It's the 120-year-old in the squad for Australia, and that is Kelly Talon Henniker. Australia also making a change. And Talia Yunus will make way for Daniela Buttress. Wonderful stint of 60-odd minutes for Eunice. Just over 61 minutes. Of course, a reminder that we do have cooling breaks at the 30-minute point of each half, with the temperature still in the mid-30s despite the sun setting in Thailand for this tournament. As Japan in the attacking half, pushing all their numbers forward. Arso goes wide, finds Itamura. Itamura back to Honda. Vani Prakash is going to push up as Arso plays it forward. As for Ruta, dropping it out to Momoka Honda. And of course, two Hondas out there now. Momoka Honda and Yura Honda both out on the field. We'll try and differentiate where we can. There's Yura Honda playing in a much further forward position, and a little bit disruptive there by Kruger, but it falls back for Momoka Honda, who plays it out wide now. Matsunaga. Matsunaga tries to cut to the outside, decides to cut back towards the 18-yard box, lays it up, and a strike taken, and that stung the palms from Asako Furuta just outside the 18-yard box, but Alona Mile parries it down and then regathers. It's a wonderful ball. First touch strike, was on target, but didn't challenge Mila. Just parried down and regathered. It's great to have you all tuning in. Make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and get involved in those comments. One of the quietest comment section we've had to date. No one getting involved there. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know who you think wins later on. Is there a South Korea any chance of an upset against North Korea? The big geopolitical battle of South and North. How does that one play out? And what is the wash up of the rest of this tournament? Who will be the third place teams that will go through? We know Vietnam finished on 3 points in their pool. Uzbekistan and Jordan will clash later tonight. India lead Chinese Taipei 2-0. So India, well, they'll finish on 3 points as well with if the score remains the same. -9 goal difference. Vietnam finished with -5, so they'll be in a stronger position. And if Uzbekistan or Jordan win their game tonight, well, then that team will go through as well. With 8 and 9 negative goal difference respectively. So both of those would finish on superior goal difference, unless India can score again, potentially here as Japan take another pot shot. It goes wide to the left here from range. It was Yura Honda taking that stroke from about 25 out from goal. Never really concerned Ilona Mila, the substitute. India will certainly be happy to have gotten their first goals at this edition of the tournament, getting 2 of those. Unfortunately, no goals yet for Chinese Taipei. There's one good thing for both Bangladesh and Vietnam, getting goals in their pool. Getting 2 against Thailand. As the ball's pushed through and Targo gets past one, beats Mila and then puts it into the back of the net, and Japan extend their lead out to 3-1. Natsumi Targo, a beautiful run, beautiful deft touch to beat the last defender and then beat the goalkeeper as well, just pulled her out and then had an open net to finish with. And Japan certainly go a long way towards securing top spot in this group. Tough times for the Aussies. Mila got a hand to it, but just couldn't stop it there. And it was a misdirected pass that set up the opportunity. Yura Honda, nice little left-footed pass out in front of Tago. She's been pressing up all day, gets it past Mila. And the scrambling defence from Australia was no challenge for her here. Here we see again on the replay, just off the outside of the right. Mila couldn't quite get all of it. Bertolicio was there, but would have taken something magical from her to save that. Japan lead 3-1. The good news for Australia, they only need to claw 2 back. But the bad news is Japan's only conceded 1 goal in over 4 hours of football so far in this tournament. And Japan certainly have a spring in their step and don't look like they're done yet. But 24 minutes of regulation time remaining for the Australians. Ilona Mila with the ball now, just rolling it out from her 18-yard box. Now she drives long, looking for Halmerick. little bit of a back pass there. Opportunity for the Aussies and cleared away in the end by Momoka Honda. Australia will have a throw at the midpoint of their attacking half on the right edge. Bertolicio will take the throw. That's Tago's second goal of the tournament. Bertolicio now, they push it wide. Postolakis rolled out. Heavy touch. Doesn't work out well for them. Falls for Matsunaga. She'll push it back. Australia needs some sort of friendly bounce and just a friendly turn of events, realistically. Momoka Honda back for Arso. Now driven down the line by Monet Sato. Looking for Tago again. Tago thought she was fouled by Sullivan, but the flag goes up for offside, so Australia will breathe a sigh of relief. Just a reminder, 3 players on yellow cards for the young Matildas, all still out there. Lona Mila, the goalkeeper, Tegan Bertolicio, and Emma Dundas. Australia take a ranging run forward, and then the strike just taken by Postolakis. Oh, no, sorry, it was Buttress. And some players around her here. Good advancing run, but decided better of using a Halmerick or even a Prakash, and you can see the frustration from Avani Prakash there. Now Bertolicio gets the head forward. Peter Trimis just puts it up in the air, almost a lottery ball. Bounces friendly for Avani Prakash. She's got 1 goal already. She cuts inside, plays it off, the strike taken. But again, Iwasaki out to it, diving, covering, and looks strong against the strike of Shelby McMahon. Playing it back now to Iwasaki. Halmerick pushing up, and Iwasaki's just going to clear this over the sideline, taking no risk. And Australia will now have a throw in on their left sideline of attack, and there'll be a double change for Australia in the meantime too. Similar to the other night, it will be Daisy Brown. She will come on for Sky Halmerick. And then Poppy O'Keefe. She will come on as well. Just looking for confirmation of who she's coming on for. That'll be for Emma Dundas, who looks like she's got a little bit of a hobble. I'm not quite sure what the rearrangement there will be, but there will be one. So 3 changes now for Australia. Sato takes a throw in for Japan. 69 minutes gone, just 21 minutes remaining. Sato drives it down the line, headed onwards by Itamura. Now Tago on the break. She's got players on the right if she can find them. That's where she goes to Matsunaga. Matsunaga now just feeding the ball out wide. Opportunity to cross it in dangerously, but no, a little off target, and just finds the outside of the side netting from Aoki, who was pushing forward. She looks reinvigorated by her move from right centre back to right back. Thanks to the emojis, guys. Another double change coming for Japan, and it looks like it's going to be a non-Tsuda. And Nakamura will be the other change coming on. Nakamura will be on for Matsunaga. Tago will be the other one to go off for Tsuda. We see Alona Miller down getting some treatment. So just getting confirmation around the player who came on. It was Konoha Nakamura in jersey 14. They said she will replace Mio Matsunaga. Japan again go on the attack here. Opportunity for Fukushima. Fed in, push over the crossbar. That was a prime opportunity for the new change in Tsuda. Nakamura, a good story. A late call up into this squad. Coming on, but Tsuda there. Would love to have that chance over again because she could have had a fourth for Japan. And I feel like they're just turning the screws here as we get inside the last 20 minutes. Chance here again. It's Amura. It's near the byline, but just can't control things. That spills over the byline for a goal kick for Australia. 73 minutes gone. As I was saying, changing the lead up, we did have Maharu Shinjo withdrew with injury and was replaced by Konoha Nakamura. Cereza Osaka club. Looks, unfortunately, a little bit like Australia is starting to put that queue in the rack. Not really pushing on, which is a real shame. Great to have you tuning in. If you haven't already, would love it if you could hit like on the video. If you're enjoying the content, hit subscribe. We'll be bringing you some of the quarterfinals and semi-finals and final as we can. As live watch-alongs. Time keeps ticking down for Australia. Here's an opportunity, though. Fukushima sneaks in behind. Gets past Sullivan. Can she get a strike away? Deflected by Bertolicio. Did well there. Sullivan's had a tough afternoon. Now, Itamura tried to weave her way through. Again, the clearance from Australia not effective. And it falls for Yura Honda. They push it wide now. Bouncing around, trying to find an avenue to goal is Nakamura, but Australia take it away here. A deflected pass from the Australians as they try to push forward. It's picked off, and now it falls to Monet Sato. Been a great playmaking influence on this left edge. On the left side of midfield for Japan. And now they're happy for the ball to go all the way back to Uraha Iwasaki. The referee's just going to go down and check on a Japanese player who's down and cramping. Lena Miller had come out to give her a hand. Japan have one more rotation if they want to make it. Referee signals the trainer onto the field as we hit the 75-minute mark. This means we will have some stoppage time, but I would suggest they might just use this as the cooling break if they're wise. As we were saying, we'll know all in terms of the quarterfinal makeup by later tonight. And here we go through another cooling break. As we touched on the temperatures in Thailand for this tournament, challenging would be a generous way of putting them. Quite often these afternoon matches, temperatures 38 degrees and further north. The players have ice packs and plenty of cold liquids. Some of the players that are off after having been replaced have got ice packs on the back of their neck, ice packs in their armpits, ice packs everywhere they can get them. Good to see one of the substitute goalkeepers there just ice packing down her teammates who've come off for the cooling break. course, it's been the Noah Fukushima show so far. She has led the way for her team as they establish a 3-1 lead late in this one. The other game ongoing, India and Chinese Taipei. India still leading 2-0 after 73 minutes. As the two teams resume, the goal scorers Nongmi Kapam and Kumi Kacham. Two of their more active players in their loss to Australia a couple of nights ago. As they've got the stretcher out for this player with a hamstring cramp. I think it's a first. And I've seen a player, stretch is probably a generous word for it. You wouldn't want to be too tall and having to go in there, as Japan look like they're going to make a triple change here. No, it'll just be a double change. I was going to say Matsunaga's in there looking about, but we'll see who the two changes are. Players in the stretcher now. As I said, there's a first for everything. Heading off with cramp. The leg's still elevated. That's how significant the cramp is. The leg is still elevated while she's in the stretcher. And as we tick down to 12 minutes of regulation time, Australians getting a little bit frustrated now. They know this is very much last chance saloon for them. The referee's just trying to work out what's going on. The player's off the field. I'm not sure what we're waiting for here. Both teams are going to make a double change, though. It'll be Millie Kassar and Sienna Dale to come on for Australia. But that will happen after the next stoppage, and Iwasaki just kicks that out as having a few issues with the feed of the game. Just dropped out for a moment there. It'll also be a double change for Japan. So it will be Zara Kruger coming off for Millie Kassar. And Peter Trimmis will come off for Sienna Dale. And on the other side, we have Hara and Kimura coming on. And Fukushima, the player with the brace. And I think it'll be Yuna Aoki coming off. So now Australia push forward straight away. Japan, though, work it through now with Honda. That is Momoka Honda at centre back. Feeds the ball through. That's a nice ball through for Itamura. Swings it across to the right now. Opportunity for Japan at the top of the 18-yard box. They cut back and take a strike. And again, it's beaten melee. And this time, it is Miki Kimura, the new substitute, straight on and first touch. Maybe second touch. She fires the ball past a prone Ilona Mila and secures Japan, finishing top of this group. Less than 10 minutes of regulation time left. We don't see a way back here for Australia. Japan lead 4-1. That's a wonderful ball there. Again, Itamura at the core of it. And then Kimura just cuts back across, threads it. Did it maybe take a deflection? We'll have a look from this angle. Cuts across here, and no, just threaded it through, and Mila was going to her right. She cut back to the striker's right, and Mila was caught off guard and off balance. Just threaded it through and snuck it in between the keeper and the right post. And things go from bad to worse for Australia as the new substitute gets on the score sheet. As I say, it's now 4-1. Japan clinical They had all the statistics in their favour in the first half, and Australia had the better of the scoring opportunities. They managed to go to the break at 1-1. Zitamura now goes down. And Japan will do everything in their powers to manage the clock from here. Got a little nudge from Bertolicio, but nothing really in it. Hunger and aggression probably need to be shown a little bit earlier from the Australians. And that said, Bertolicio needs to be careful because Australia definitely, as I said, I've harped on this, likely matchup with North Korea in the quarterfinals, barring North Korea losing to South Korea tonight. Japan again go on the attack, this time Furuta. Decides to play it back, and now Hara. Hara connects with Kimura. Try and create the opportunity here. It spills out wide, looking for Sato. Can't capitalise, but Alicio drives long. Is met on the volley by Aso. Australia, they're not giving up their opportunity, and that might be a yellow card, the first for Japan, going the way of Asako Furuta, just dragging down the Australian attacker at halfway. Almost 83 minutes gone. Good to have you tuning in. Make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and get involved in those comments. You could be setting a record tonight. First live stream with no comments. It's okay. Lots of shy people out there, we understand. Just let us know where you're tuning in from, what you're here looking to see. Obviously, the Japanese putting on a bit of a show here in the second half, scoring 3 goals. A fairly strong sliding tackle there by Hibari Hara, forcing the ball over the byline. Just working out what they're saying. The last touch has come off Australia, I think. So it will be a Japanese corner. 83.5 minutes gone. Good to have you tuning in. Jump into those comments. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. Hopefully, you're cheering for Japan at this point because they're well and truly on top. And they will finish on top of Pool C and set themselves with a clash with either the third place team from Pool A or Pool B. The ball's curled in. Spills dangerously, still in the 18-yard box. Coming around again. Shot taken and over the top. She's got a double. Miki Kimura just chipped it over the goalkeeper. She's been on for about 3 minutes and she's got 2 goals, and Japan are putting on a show now. And Australia look desolate, and understandably so. 5 goals to 1. The good news is they can't finish below India because they've already got 2 wins locked in. But this cannot help their momentum going into the quarterfinals. And it certainly makes the challenge of trying to qualify the Under-20s World Cup in September in Poland a very difficult one, because they need to get through to the Final 4. There is no repechage spots. It is just the semi-finalists from this Asian Women's Under-20s AFC Cup. AFC Under-20 Asian Cup. We'll get there in the end. But disappointing for the Australians. They had Japan right where they needed them at 1-0 in stoppage time in the first half. Conceded a goal. And the second half has been a clinical run from Japan. And the touch and impact of Miki Kimura, the 19-year-old from AS Elfin Saitama, has absolutely shown them up here as Avani Prakash gets one back for Australia, just feeds it into the box, and a nice little touch back across, almost from nothing. Everyone just looked like they were going through their paces, and Daisy Brown gets a second for the Australians. Prakash goes from our opening scorer to setting up our second. That's some good positivity and pride for Australia, but I think it's going to be too little too late with just over 4 minutes of stoppage time. As the ball played through, Sienna Dale. Prakash just got the other side of Yura Honda and somehow fed into the box and just pushed past Momoka Honda and Iwasaki. Daisy Brown from the Brisbane Roar gets on the score sheet. Helps Australia's cause, but still seems nigh on impossible from here. 3 goals required in about as many minutes. She does get Australia's 12th goal of the campaign. Japan now go on the counter, looking to go the other way. Too heavy the ball for Itamura. Goes across the left sideline, the right sideline if you're Australia. And Australia will now take the throw. That was Brown's second goal. She scored the seal of the 5th goal the other night against India as well. And Japan through Sato, pushed forward by Bertolicio. Brought down by Euro Honda. Appeals of handball from Australia. Referee waves them away. Now an opportunity. Iwasaki has to come off a line and race out to the 18-yard box to meet the ball. It's headed forward by Australia. Buttress now cuts into the 18-yard box. The flag goes up for offside. And with just over 2.5 minutes of regulation time remaining, even the most optimistic Australian fans will be starting to admit that this one has gotten away from the Aussies. There's been plenty of goals in all the Aussie games. Unfortunately for this time, the 5 goals conceded are against Australia, not in favour of them. It's a shame, but they live on. They will go to the quarterfinals. It's just a matter now of who they will take on. And to be fair, they almost would have been better had they finished in 3rd place in Group C. China would have been a slightly easier opponent than North Korea, but that is the way the cookie crumbles. An interesting draw with 2 third-place teams going through and ending up on one side of the draw, but the other side of the draw has 3 runners-up all playing. So, unfortunately for Australia, they are not one of the runners-up that gets to play another runner-up. That'll be the runners-up of Group A and Group B, so the host Thailand will be one of those. And you expect potentially South Korea will be the other. So, doesn't matter which way you look at it. There are some very good teams in this competition. It's going to be a tough draw coming into the quarterfinals as Ruby Sullivan just pushes this across the sideline. And Australia seem resigned to their cause at this point. 89 minutes, tick over of regulation time. Then it'll just be the referee's discretion from there. You'd expect maybe somewhere in the range of 4 to 7 would be as much as they could conjure, you would think. There has been 4 goals and a cooling break, but much more than that, and you're really starting to extend the friendship. And even with 7 minutes, I don't think Australia have got 3 goals in them in 7 minutes, despite the fact they've scored 12 goals throughout this campaign. Japan just happy to manage possession. Now they drive it long and forward, looking for Sato. Ball too long, and will go across the byline. It'll be a goal kick for the Australians. 20 seconds of regulation time remaining, and then, as I say, we'll be at the officials' discretion. In the other game, 86 minutes gone, and India have got a penalty to extend their lead. Chance to go to 3-0, which will certainly aid their cause of a potential quarterfinal berth. 3rd goal would move their goal difference to -8, which would then put them in with a shout, but realistically still would need either a count back then if Jordan were to win, and it is 5 minutes of added time that will be played. We're just confirmed from the 4th official. Australia push this forward now. O'Keefe's there, plays it down for Dale. Dale tries to prod it into the centre of attack, but no one's there. Prakash was floating back over on the right, as was Daisy Brown. And now Japan lose possession over the sideline on the left edge of the Australian attack, just short of halfway for Australia. And this is where they work it now. Nothing presents for Sullivan. She goes back to Mila. Mila will return it to Sullivan now. A minute of stoppage time gone. Drives it long. Finds Prakash. Can she find another runner? Plays it wide now for Sienna Dale. Dale, little shuffle step and a shimmy to the outside. Gets on the afterburners. Tries to cross it in, but just skies it across the crossbar, and it will go unthreateningly away, out of play. And Again, another 30 seconds or so ticks by while we wait now for Japanese goalkeeper Uraha Iwasaki just to set the ball and then roll it out. 90 seconds down of 5 minutes of stoppage time, and we proceed towards the inevitable here. A few Australian players still trying to find a spring in their step and get things happening, but not quite working the way they would endeavour. Now the throwing comes and the ball pushes across to Sullivan. Sullivan, I was going to say she's going to go all the way back to Alona Mila, but she goes back to her centre-back partner, which is Shelby McMahon, deputising at centre-back after the substitution for Dundas. And Australia clear it long to just short of halfway over the sideline. And Japan will take a throw. Throw goes all the way back now to Momoka Honda. Momoka Honda plays it through Furuta. Prakash with a heavy challenge there. Australia win the ball out. The referee says play on though. Daisy Brown dispossessed, but it falls to O'Keefe, and Australia keep possession through Bertolicio. Now it goes across to McMahon. McMahon returns it to Sullivan now. The centre-back's pairing up. She goes long. Dale puts it on. Ball out wide now for Bertolicio. That was a nice little touch there in behind for Kassar. Bertolicio, what can she conjure? Tries to play it to Kassar. Couldn't control. Comes back to Bertolicio again. Bit of a heavy touch. It's come from the defender, so she can't be offside. Now Dale. She'll work it in. Australia trying to come up with something, but the touch a little too heavy for O'Keefe. And Japan just happy to clear it away into open territory as we head into the last, what should be the last 2 minutes of stoppage time here in Thailand. Japan securing this 3-goal lead. Top spot in Pool C. Australia will be resigned to second place. Australia will play South Korea should they lose or draw. Should they win tonight. If North Korea win or draw, that will be a North Korea-Australia quarter-final, which will be absolutely box office, but North Korea will head in as warm favourites. Then in the other games, we obviously have Uzbekistan and Jordan tonight. Depending on that result, will depend on which two of the third-place teams out of Vietnam, India, and then Uzbekistan and Jordan go through to the next stage. Surprisingly, across all the pool games so far, we are yet to have a drawn match. 4 minutes of stoppage time gone. The referee will be counting down the moments now. Australia probing forward. They do get a foul. Called against Hibari Hara, one of the substitutes that's come on. The foul earned there by by Danella Buttress. Australia working it around. They go all the way back to McMahon at centre back. She drives it through the centre circle. They tick down. 5 seconds remaining of the 5 minutes, and then it'll be at the referee's discretion. She's got the whistle almost in her mouth. Australia overcooked the cross. But recovering there is Buttress. She comes through, and Iwasaki is out and clears it away. Referee says that'll be a throw-in. Still some time to come. They're throwing for Australia deep in attacking territory on the left-hand edge. Buttress had a chance there and just couldn't quite get it past Iwasaki. Australia now have to go all the way back, but Japan have got them on the hop, and Alona Mila has to be careful here. Does well just to force a tackle before Ruby Sullivan can get back and kick it out of play. And is the referee going to say that'll do us, or will we have some more play here? No, that will do us, she says. Japan run out winners 5-2. In the other match, India lead 3-0 deep, so they will finish third in Pool C. Japan will finish on top of the pool. And just running through in the first half was Avani Prakash scoring in the 39th minute that gave Australia the lead. In the 3rd minute of first half stoppage time, Fukushima for Japan. That is Noah Fukushima got there first to level it up at the break. Then quickly thereafter, 9 minutes into the second half, in the 54th minute, Fukushima got a second for Japan. And then from there, it was Tago, their striker, who Natsumi Tago, who got on the score sheet with a third for Japan. And from there, they didn't look back. Kimura came on, Miki Kimura from ASL and Saitama. Got a double in the 81st and 84th minute after coming on in the 80th minute. And that meant that they led 5-1. Daisy Brown got a consolation goal for the Australians. But as I said, it will be Japan first, Australia second, and it will be India third in Pool C, meaning Chinese Taipei will finish last, winless. And at this stage, it looks like goalless throughout this competition. And tonight, Uzbekistan and Jordan will play. The winner of that will finish third. If it's a draw, it will be Uzbekistan that will stay third in their pool. And similarly, South Korea and North Korea will fight out for top spot in Group B. So that is where it all washes up. But again, as always, a big thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel. We look forward to seeing you again soon on another one of our live watch-alongs. Plenty more action to come. We'll be covering some of the quarterfinals and semi-finals in the days to come. But please, make sure to hit like and subscribe.